And all right, for our final segment, we have the People's Take, and this is where I scour, not really, across the internet to get comments from sites that were covering this. I guess you could call it event.
Hot topic. We'll give it a hot topic. It's not an event.
Yeah, hot topic. Yeah,
he's just a topic. He's just a flash in the pan.
Yes, it fades away really quickly. You know, it's a little brush fire.
Like his hair.
So
mothballing.
The first take we got from Sean from SB Nation, and his take was his currency is publicity. He knows that when he says something stupid about John Wall or video games or whatever other nonsense, he gets free publicity. Ignore the trolls. And I mean, look, Sean's right, but he also knows that websites, videos, everything is based off of comments. And, you know, those comments are clicks. That's why clickbait was invented. I mean, if you saw the This Week article, show where they talk about clickbait, they talk about how, you know, you put something down so that people will come to your site. I mean, there was just, I don't know if you saw it, Joshua, about the guy who made he didn't make it yet, but it's upcoming, where you get a 10% discount for being white. It's like white appreciation day. It's like 10 or 20% off. And it's like, and the guy's Mexican. He's a second generation Mexican family that owns this restaurant. Oh, wow. And it's like, come on, you know, he's doing that and he started a GoFundMe as well. So it's perfectly planned to, you know, put this out, get outrage, then have a GoFundMe for the people who are on his side, and then, you know, profit. It's perfectly set up. And, you know, Sean, this is the same thing. Gamers always throw gasoline on the fire. And, that's what happens, you know. And that's why, you know, we take all this time. You know, we could have made the show 10 minutes, 5 minutes, but we extend this because we want to go through it because it's important. And, you know, you don't have to scream and curse to get to the bottom of these issues all the time. There's enough of that. There's plenty of YouTube, plenty of posts to go through that.
Don't feed the trolls.
Yeah, you don't have to feed them the red meat. You can throw vegetables like in Super Mario.
Vegetables, that way they can run faster.
Yeah. All right, so we had Manifesto Deluxe from Polygon. He said, I'm not a big sports radio fan, but I did listen to him frequently during the years. And I'll say this for Cowherd, he owns up to being full of shit. He will hate on one thing one day and then praise it the next. But he's been pretty upfront that his role is entertainment, his business is ratings, and getting people on the fringes of opinion is what he gets from them. It's fortunate in a lot of ways, but it's also basically what entertainment and political news has become, including most video game journalism. Honestly, taking Cowherd's opinion seriously on anything is a waste of time, and seeing it here is pretty amusing. I mean, again, it's correct. It's basically what we said. You know, he called himself. He says he's a jerk. He's done takes before. Like, for instance, when the Cavs played Golden State and beat them back in the day, he kept making fun of the Splash Brothers. He was going splashy, 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 and saying how LeBron is going to own them. And what happened? He had so many, you know, Golden State fans call in and bash him, and all he kept saying is how great LeBron is. Now, you still have so many people that hate LeBron. So anything where he's pumping up LeBron, especially how people already say that ESPN is all over LeBron, that's just going to easily get a lot of people to come on. So even though he usually interviews people, it's not like he takes a ton of calls. He loves taking calls from angry people because when you're angry, you make mistakes, you say stupid things, and then he just shoots you down. And he loves that for his ego. So, I mean, this right here is perfect.
Yeah.
And unfortunately with video gamers, you're already probably young. You have a lot of testosterone. You're angry. And when someone attacks you, it's perfect. I mean, he was ready. I listened to the show the next couple of days, and he was ready for the flames. And there was plenty of it. And he was right there to just turn around and be like, look at all these people flaming me. They're so stupid. And he was reading these comments, and it was like everything that they say negatively about gamers, he had the evidence right there in black and white. And, you know, it's unfortunate, but there's so many websites, so many YouTube videos where he can pull that kind of data from, but it is what it is. Yeah. From Michael Lionheart from VG247.com, he writes, don't blame him. I personally think this whole esports shit just ruins gaming as a whole. Video games were made for purely entertainment and fun. Tired of all these pointless tournaments and COD bullshit. Okay. I mean, what do you think about this? Because, I mean, I think that from the very beginning, yes, there's entertainment, but there's competition. First, it was you versus the computer, but even Pong, you know, you were like, you want to play against someone else. That was your first competition. You versus computer, you versus someone right next to you, and then it just went from there. I mean,
oh man, if you buy a game, man, how can I say this? It's funny he would say it that way. What kind of games does he play? That's what I would say. For example, fighting games are built around competition. First-person shooters are built around competition. You know, those kind of games wouldn't be fun if you just played bots all day. You know, they wouldn't be fun. You know, and so maybe what he likes is RPGs. But you know what? People make competitions out of that. At the end of the day, the game is a tool you use to either teach or learn from and enjoy however you see fit. You paid the $50 for the game. So however you use it is up to you. You know, if you want to become a competitive person at it, shoot, I've seen people make competitions out of freaking tic-tac-toe. I'm the best tic-tac-toe player in the United States. You know, I've seen people make competitions out of being the best in Madden. You know, those were huge competitions. So really, you know, if you feel it's ruining gaming for you, then why are you paying attention to it?
Yeah, exactly.
You don't need to pay attention to it, man. You can go ahead, stay home, turn on your Xbox, and play your game. That's what you like. That's what you bought the game for. Bought the game to play. Let other people do what they want to do. Stop trying to control them and tell them that you're ruining life because you made competitive Barbie, all right? Yo, Barbie's allowed to be competitive. Let her live in her competition state, sir. Let it be.
Oh my God, what is this name that they gave me? Okay, this one's GameSpot, but Dictor Bloom, man, I can't pronounce this.
What's his name?
It's DIEKNOCHENBLUME.
Yo,
wow.
You got a long name, sir, and you need to fix it.
Wow.
You need to fix it, sir.
They do this on purpose because they know my pronunciation sucks. So it's look. I'm sorry. I'm sorry, sir. I can't.
Sir, fix your name. 3 letters or shorter.
Yeah, too long.
Preferably not BJ, because then we would wonder.
Too long, can't pronounce.
Exactly. Too long, didn't read.
All right, so he says, why do so many people get offended at the idea of calling programmers athletes? It's like getting offended over using the Lord's name in vain. I guess it's a sensitive cultural matter. Curling could possibly be less physical effort from athletes than a lot of current gaming tournaments. But hey, who cares? Let's get offended either way. I mean, I guess it's a matter of you could be offended at anything, obviously. So you could just get offended about that. You can find anything to be upset about. Just look at Twitter. But the idea is that if you actually are trying something and, you know, there's been rules put in place, there's a tournament put in place, you actually earn your way up, and then someone tries to discredit that, then yes, you do have a right to get upset, regardless of what the medium is. You know, you can look at video games and say games, and then you can try and discredit because you can say it's a game. But no, the point is that you earn that right to be there. That's why there's a ranking. That's why there's a tournament. So if someone comes along and says, "Oh, your accomplishments mean nothing because it's a game," and I remember 50 years ago when kids played it, no, that's irrelevant. You earned that right. So someone shouldn't come along and use their backwater view to dump rain and water on your parade because you earned your spot. So it's really as simple as that. I mean, yes, anyone could get offended, but sometimes they're rightfully offended, and I think that this is one of those cases. I mean, would you agree?
There was a term that was told to me when I first started playing fighting games competitively. High level is what you see on stream. That's high level. It's not what you think. It's not what you are. It's what you see on stream. I told him, but what do you mean? Now, how can that be high level? It goes, because that's what people think. People think that what you see on the screen, what's happening, that's high level. It's not. Wake Up Ultra in Street Fighter, year 1 was considered high level. Oh man, that was high level. Now you don't even see that. Nobody really does it. If you Wake Up Ultra, that's because you tilted hard. A lot of people always discredit the person's work and effort because they want to be that person. So when you deal with that, that's basically called haters. So you put your hater blockers on and you just ignore them. You tell them, yo, boo, go drink your haterade, train up, and see me in top 8. See then what happens. They ain't gonna even make top 8 because you know what? They're not as dedicated, and they don't view it the same way the dedicated person who wants to make a top 8 does. Plain and simple. They're just hating. Don't hate the player, hate the game because you suck at it. Hit Alt F4 and quit.
All right, our last one is from Game Informer, and this is from the Spaz. Okay. And he says, I have to agree. I guess he's agreeing with Cowherd. I love my video games just fine, but I don't want it to bleed into every aspect of my internet life. So handpegging a segment in a show that doesn't cater to games is, I don't know. It's like watching the World Cup and then they decide to suddenly make an event happen on a FIFA console instead of the real deal. I don't think just because something is popular doesn't mean it has to be for every show. Okay, well, I guess what he's trying to say is that if he's watching sports, video games shouldn't interfere with that. But, I mean, again, you have to understand the context of what's going on. If ESPN only dealt with, like, very, very strict rules, like if it only showed, NFL, NBA, hockey, stuff like that, they're doing golf, things like that, then you could say, well, they have this criteria that they're hitting. But they've already broken that with so many other things. They're obviously loose with what they're adding. Then you really got to ask, what are they going for as far as viewership? What do they consider worthy to be on their networks? Especially earlier, a couple of years back when they had ESPN3, they were adding all these, internet channels. You were trying to see what they were trying to evolve into. I mean, just splitting off a bit. I mean, for goodness sakes, you want to talk about, crossing over? You have, like, the Dirty Jobs guy, on CNN. So, CNN after, 9 o'clock doesn't even show news half the time anymore. They got cooking shows on there half the time. So things are changing, and either this matches up with what the network is trying to do and you accept that, or you really think that it is against what the network is doing and you don't. But throwing in everything else like stereotypes, hate, and all that, that's like Joshua said, it's just haterade. But that was the people's take, and now we're going to move on to the final take, where we give you our final take on this whole thing.
So I love you. I love you. You just made me have a show. I just got a show because of this. Yo, you are the best type of promotional tool ever. FYI. Thank you, sir. Thank you. May I please have another?
That's your final take?
No. I'm just getting started.
All right, give us your final take.
Give it to me again. Give it to me again, as Dan Le Batard would say. My final take would be simple. It's real simple. Hop on the train or get off. There is no in between. I'm not going to be your friend. I hope you understand that. You need to either hop on our train or get off. There is no necessity to, poke fun at it. We're going to be making the money we make out of this type of event or not. So if you want to be a part of it, great. I welcome you, sir. You're welcome. We will educate you in whatever you need. We will give you the tools to whatever you want. And we will even appreciate what type of production value you might even be able to offer us. But if you don't want to be a part of it, nobody's going to twist your arm. Plain and simple, sir. I will give you a bracelet, and it'll say esports on it, and that'll be the only thing you ever get from us. So seriously, I know he probably did it just for views, for the random, maybe gauging of the market audience at the time, to see who was listening to him, But if he's serious about it, and he doesn't want to cover it, he doesn't have to. Nobody's going to twist his arm. There's no necessity for that. There are plenty of other more capable people that actually study the subject of esports and what it entails that could do the job just as good as him, if not better. If anything's taught me in life is you may think you're the best, but there's somebody way better than you in this world at what you think you're good at.
I think that it's really funny that one of the first things that he said is that he's going to quit. I mean, if that doesn't sound like a gamer, I don't know what else does. There's a lot of things that people, would want to quit over. I'm sure back in the day of early gaming, there's people that wanted to quit over a lot of changes, people coming into gaming. I'm sure in sports, there are a lot of people that wanted to quit over changes. As rules were changed, as people were allowed to come into the league, I'm sure people wanted to quit too. As people get older, as things changed, a lot of people don't want to see that happen. Change is hard. But the point is that when you see that it's a positive change and not a negative change, you have to embrace it. You can't always just close the door and say to yourself, oh, well, this doesn't belong here. You have to really ask yourself why. It's easy to sit back and just make a quick joke, especially when it's an old joke that's not even yours. But if you're going to call yourself intelligent, please take the time to actually use that intelligence and come up with something original and back it up and not just use those old tired cliches. I mean, anyone could do that. You're better than that. I mean, at least you keep telling us that you are. I would take the time to actually look into why these people like the esports that they cover and why the gamers are doing what they do, and also look at the numbers that it's bringing in. I mean, you care about numbers, right? I mean, all the sponsors and stuff that you have. I mean, ESPN is about entertainment as well. I mean, ESPN itself is about covering entertainment. When you turn on SportsCenter, all you hear half the time is about gossip and all that stuff. Do you think that they're really covering that because it has so much to do just about sports? Or is it more because people want to gossip about, who is angry at who and who's taking steroids and who's cheating on who? I mean, that's dominated more than about stats. I mean, people are more concerned about gambling than they are really about who's going to get drafted. That's really what people are caring about. I mean, the stats, if you really want to talk about numbers, that sounds more important than people that are caring about the stats in a freaking MMO. So I think that the most important thing overall is just to bring us all together and realize that we have a lot more in common than you really want to realize. And not use those tired cliches, because right next to me is a gamer, right next to you is a sports lover. So why don't we sit down? We could play a simulated game, and then we can watch a real one, and we can all have a really good time. Or maybe not, I don't know. And that's my take.
And by the way, as Colin Cowherd would say, look at the numbers. 32 million. Only sport broadcasted higher than that is your billion-dollar juggernaut. We did it with less money, and it's only going to grow. 32 million people watched people play a game. If you think you can do better with your segments and make better entertainment, I challenge you to. But don't knock it, because I don't think 32 million people are listening to your tired ass.
Hey, and look, I mean, think about this. What would you really rather watch? A good fighting game, like, let's say a Mortal Kombat match, or that terrible Mayweather fight? I mean, at least it's not going to cost you $100.
I heard that Mayweather rushed for more yards than Trent Richardson.
I mean, and he had an injury. Pacquiao had an injury, so there's going to be a big deal over that. I mean, yeah.
I know in esports, when you cheat, you get banned.
Yeah, so
you get banned.
We could spend.
What's going to happen to Pacquiao?
We could spend another 3-4 hours.
We can make that another segment.
Yeah, we can spend another 3-4 hours attacking, but it's not necessary. The point is that we can all coexist on the mothership. There's plenty of room on the mothership. So if there's anything to take away from this, it's that. There's plenty of room.
There's enough bandwidth, by the way, because last time I checked, the reason why America had to up their infrastructure on the internet was because of gamers.
Yeah, exactly.
So we have enough bandwidth. You can jump on our bandwidth.
Yeah.
And share our experiences.
You guys have your once daily fantasy leagues, and we have our League of Legends. We can all get along.
I like beer, just like
you guys are on the internet looking up your fantasy teams. We're on the internet playing our games. What's the difference? Really, what's the difference? There's nothing. And that's our Gamers Take. We'll be back with another subject that you care about very soon. I'm Jay Laraque. He's Joshua Laus. We'll see you soon, and we'll get your take.